What's up, everybody? I apologize for missing last week. I had a bunch of stuff going on here, but there will be no more interruptions. We will be on time going forward. We will be doing streams every Wednesday, unless, like, the house is on fire or something. So, anyways, how's everybody doing? It's been 2 weeks since I last saw you, and I'm closing out stuff so I don't get distracted. Yay, ADHD. Anyways, so how's everybody doing? I hope you guys had an awesome, well, Thanksgiving's a little late, but when was the last time I talked to all of you? I think it was literally the first, yeah, so the week after. So, yeah, I do want to say, those of you guys that keep asking when are the easy boards going to be in, they are here. They're landed. They're in the shop. They're shipping right now. So, we have them. So if you want an easy board, you can order it and it will ship out. It's not a pre-order. It's not a back order. It's not a Kickstarter. It's not a Big Tree Tech board. We have working boards that are ready to ship should you want one. Yeah, I got the questions here, and the way these streams work is you guys have to ask me questions. Otherwise, what happens is I try to fill the silence with ramblings. Just ask anybody who's been here before. I know a lot of you guys. I see a lot of regulars here. I know a lot of you guys know how things go. So anyways, we're gonna get into this, and it's gonna be fun. I said, screw it, I'm my own boss. I'm gonna have a beer, even though it's 4 o'clock. I don't care. We're doing this. YOLO. maybe there'll be a late night stream tonight. I don't know. What do you guys think? I'm thinking about doing some fun streams. I feel like we should have a roast me stream before the end of the year. What do you guys think? Guys and girl, there's probably like literally one girl watching this. I see one. I see Krista's in the chat. So there's one girl. Our demographics here are very dismal. It's literally a sausage fest. I think our viewership is 0.1% female. So anyways, let's see. What do we got here? So I'm going to go ahead and do intros. You guys need to post questions in the chat. So once I'm done doing all the intros and seeing who's here and saying hi to everybody, I have questions to answer. So that's the whole point here. I do have a printer sitting here. This is a shell of a G-Tech A20. This is my buddy Joe's. I had sold it to him like just as like a, hey, here's a cheap printer. He had issues with the hot end, found out it was leaking. So I'm just putting a Creality carriage on it and doing a conversion to G-Tech it. So anyways, let's see who's here. I see we got a bunch of our regulars and YouTube members. So we got Dimitri here. Nemo is in there. Peter Anderson. Jonathan Barnes. BW Electronics. I recognize you. I noticed your thumbnail is a bunch of like 18650 lithium-ion batteries. Do you sell batteries, or are you very passionate about batteries? I see Jerry here. Mr. 3DHP is in the house. Tommy O. Mark Puffenberger. I appreciate it. Just want to give a shout out to Mark. Mark has been really awesome just as a friend to myself through the last couple of months. I've been going through a lot of changes, a lot of personal stuff, and I just wanted to publicly shout out him for, you know, being being someone I could bounce ideas off and being here to listen to me vent about shit. So just wanted to give a personal thanks publicly. So I really do appreciate Mark. We got Vincent here, Jonathan Bayer, Nadav. I know you're a regular. You're not a YouTube member, but I know I try to remember my regulars. So, of course, our Mills, Dimitri K. You guys noticed the new picture? Yeah, I figured it was time for a new one. The other one was when we were doing call-ins, and we don't do call-ins anymore. It's chat and Discord. So I see Michael Magaha is here, which I know who you are. North Woodsman. Hobart, Indiana is in a strange little cell. It's actually 15 minutes behind Central Time. Yeah, it is. I believe what you're looking for is referred to as Hoagland time. Just ask anybody that knows me, or even my family. That's the word you're looking for, is Hoagland time, which means I'm just perpetually late. I've been working on it, okay? I'm not going to pretend like it's not a thing. It is a thing, and it frustrates me just as much as it frustrates other people, and I apologize. Let's see. Have I added the Ender 6 to your V2.x firmware? I'm assuming you mean for the EasyBoard V2. I have not yet. Nemo says there's no sanity if you agree with me. Spasmatic, I want my EasyBoard. Well, if you ordered it, it should be on its way. Yeah, festive music. I totally forgot to give a shout out to my boys Max and Josh. Josh is Max's husband, and he runs the band group, whatever you want to call it, from 0 to Z. Almost all the music we play on the channel here is from them. I support them on their Bandcamp, and bought all their albums, and I appreciate them letting us use their music. It's right up my alley. I like some retro synthy type stuff, and it kind of fits the aesthetic. So. But yeah, they just released a Christmas Carol of the Bells one on their YouTube, so make sure to check that out. John Vincent, oh, I got sidetracked, sorry. Justin Dybell's here. I see Blazeby is here, which is Tor. If you guys ever interact with Tor over live chat, you'll typically find him there. And I said Matt Madoob. I always say your name wrong. I knew how to pronounce it at one point, but I know it's some like character from a show or something. Someone's going to roast me in the comments for that. But I don't care. We got Vincent. Let's see, Dean Hintz. How many other people? Doc Brown. All right. We're gonna cut off the intros here. So let's see. Are there any questions here? I'm looking to see if there's any questions that we any questions posted here. Charlton said, I wish we could get support information in the UK as good as that is on this channel and parts availability. I appreciate that. I wish it wasn't so hard to manage sending stuff over there with all their new restrictions with the taxes. Being a small business, it's kind of hard for us to make sure we're in compliance with all that stuff, and I don't want to get any legal trouble. So we stopped shipping over the UK because of all the new tax laws they have, because we literally have to be reporting and filing taxes in the UK, even though we're in the US. Me personally, I think that's ridiculous. You should just collect it at the border like everybody else does. So we just opted out, because the thing is, if we just said screw it and kept shipping there as a company, the packages could get held up, and then you guys would never get what you ordered, and then that creates a whole nother set of issues that we did not want to deal with. So the giveaway is open. Doc Brown says he's got his EasyBoard as well. Going to be doing a full teardown and rebuild over Christmas, resquare, tighten, lube, etc. I have 4 Ender 3s. My buddy Tim, awesome name by the way, he dropped off his Ender 3. So I was thinking about just doing some hangout streams while I go over them. They're ones I helped him build, and then he messed them up. So he's like, hey, if you could help me out, I'd appreciate it. And him and I barter different services and goods. So I'm going to be going over those. I thought about popping a stream on, just working on them so you guys can see what kind of stuff we encounter, because I have no idea. He's like, yeah, they're just not working right. I was like, it's fine. I'll go over them. Yeah, Remo's here. Let's see. Any updates on the Ender 2 Pro? Worth it. I have to put it back together. But I did pull, it's right here. I did pull the control board out, and you can see that 5th pin is indeed a ground pin. So you see that G? So basically the second pin over between 1A and 1B, that's a ground pin. So I'm assuming they're doing that to mitigate interference. So, but my plan is to put the Ender 2 Pro back together, start getting some updates done for it in terms of products, and then I've shelved the development on the Ender 2 Pro right now just till things in my personal life settle down. So, which is happening this week. So, you guys are gonna see more of me on here doing more videos and stuff, but not burning myself out like I did last time. So, all right. Hopefully, there's questions in the chat. I'm scrolling up here. All right. Where did chat jump? Chat jumped a lot. Man, why did chat jump so much? Because I know Derek tipped $5, and I'm going to answer your question, Derek. I'm just trying to figure out where everything where it was. Okay, Ender 2 Pro. I'm back where I was. So when I say chat jumps, basically I have chat up on my screen, and as I'm scrolling, all of a sudden it'll go from here all the way to the bottom, and I have to scroll back up and figure out where the hell I was. So, all right. All right, first question Vincent is asking, do the easy boards work with the Chiron? So in terms of a drop-in replacement, no, they do not. I have a Chiron here. We actually have it in the print farm. It's been doing really well after we replaced the power supply. The stock power supply just gave up the ghost. Ended up putting a Meanwell in there. There's a video on the channel about that. And then we also swapped out the LCD. Now, the thing with the Easy Board is the Easy Board gets a lot of value, especially if you're a newer person and somebody that doesn't like screwing around with things and trying to figure out how to get stuff to work, because we do include a lot of pre-set up firmware along with technical support for the board. But where the Easy Boards really shine in terms of the ones that the V1 and the V2 that's currently out is for drop-in replacements for Creality and Solval machines, because it's very quick and easy to swap it out. Now, the thing is, we do have firmware, what we call the DIY firmware, that's intended if you want to take the Easy Board and put it into any printer. Now, the only thing I will say with the Chiron is, because the Easy Board is a 4-driver board, the stock board, even though it's an 8-bit board, does have 5 driver outputs, so it runs the Z motors separately, and you can do some stuff like G34 auto alignment with a stock board that you can't do with the Easy Board just because it's a 4-driver board instead of a 5. But if you're willing to design a mount to bolt it up into the Chiron and do the wiring changes, you could make the board work in there. It's just not going to be an easy task. I would not recommend it if you haven't done a custom printer build or haven't done a custom board swap in a machine before. It's definitely going to be an undertaking. Yes, the Easy Board will work in basically any printer that can run with 4 stepper motor drivers. So that's what we have available on the Easy Boards. I have one of them. This is the prototype. Where's the final one? Right here. So you can see here we've got 4 drivers and we've got dual Z outputs, but these are off of the same drivers. So these are parallel drivers. So I would not recommend it if you are new. If you're looking for a project, go for it. But there's the stock board's not terrible on those. It really depends on how much work you want to do. I'm just being honest with you here. So, Derek, how's that Wanhao Mini i3V1 still working? Did the heat pad unglue itself? No, the i3V1 that I did a video on, I'm surprised you remember that, is still in this is my personal print farm here. I got 8 machines over here, 1 here, the Daedalus. So I've got 12 printers in my office here. And yeah, it's still in there. It works. So, all right. Yes, we need a roast me. When are we getting another AliExpress shopping stream? That was a fun one. We might have to do another one of those again and set like a really restrictive budget. So let's see. Peter Anderson says, I got a question about your 12864 LCD upgrade kit. Well, we have a couple of those for different printers. We kind of have like a thing going where we have different ones. So I would need to know what printer you're referring to. You're saying, can I use a regular Creality display with the Easy Board, and what's the benefit of using your display? And tell me about the card reader on yours. So, okay, so 12864 refers to the type of screen, like the actual dot matrix screen that generates a character. So Creality has their own 12864 display, and then there's also what's called the RepRap style one, which is usually a red PCB. We carry both of them. Now, functionally, they're both basically the same screen. Both of them will work with our Easy Board. The RepRap style one usually will need the dual cable LCD adapter, and the thing is, the card reader on the 12864 one, the RepRap style one with the red PCB, if you're using with something like an Easy Board or a Creality board where it only has one LCD header, so one header right here, the SD card will not do anything on that style LCD because the pins are going here. They're not routed to this header. So, but on boards like, the MKS S Gen L or, the SKR13, 14, whatever, where they have the EXP1, EXP2, those will usually have those pins broken out to take advantage of that SD slot that's on that screen. If you notice the Creality screen, even though it's a 12864 and it has EXP1, EXP2, and EXP3, connectors, there's no SD slot, and that's because Creality's boards have SD slots on them, so they don't route those pins to the displays. But functionally, the Creality one and the RepRap style one are functionally the same. The difference is the physical board layout's a little bit different. So like a mount or a housing that is meant to take the Creality one or will not work with the rep style one, and vice versa. The one that's meant for the rep style one will not work for the Creality one, because there's slight differences with the bolt holes, where the knob is, the beeper pin, or the beeper itself, and just other stuff. So they're not interchangeable, but functionally they're basically identical, except for one has an SD slot on it, and one doesn't. So Exile's asking, he said he's in the UK. Hope you're doing well. I am doing really well, actually. I appreciate you asking. But he said, I'm in the UK. I can't get an easy ABL easily. I was wondering if the TH3 firmware was okay with the CR Touch. So our firmware has settings for the BL Touch. And as far as I know, and because I looked into when Creality released their BL Touch knockoff, it basically is a BL Touch in terms of setup, in terms of firmware. So in theory, yes, it should be fine. I do not have a CR Touch, but I know there are people using the CR Touch with our firmware. You just treat it like a BL Touch. All right. So let's see. Vincent, I know you guys are working with PETG on Ender 6. You come in any good settings for the first layer adhesion, and how to reduce stringing? What nozzle material is best for PETG? So nozzle material, PETG, unless you're printing with something that's like impregnated with like glow in the dark or anything abrasive, really any nozzle type is fine. I do have our copper plated nozzles, the Easy Flow ones, and I do find that the PETG, because it's very sticky, does tend to not stick to the coated type nozzles, whether it's ours or other brands, as well as bare brass or steel nozzles. So there is a little bit of benefit, but you don't need a special nozzle for standard PETG. In terms of reducing stringing, dehydrating and drying the filament is a big thing that I found helps. Certain brands of PETG just string. I do have some PETG. I just placed an order for some PETG from Greengate, so that's the recycled plastic. So we'll be stocking some Greengate PETGs. I have been printing the coax PETGs, and they're fine. To be completely honest, I think their PETGs are just about the same as some of the other U.S. brands. And I've been printing with some of the Greengate stuff, so I want to kind of get more brands in. So we're gonna get the Greengate PETG in there, and then we were thinking about reaching out to coax and getting some of their stuff in. I would love to get Atomic filament in, but they don't do any resellers, which makes me sad because I do like Atomic filament. They have some really cool colors. So, and they're also fellow Hoosiers, so they're about an hour and a half from us here in Indiana. So, but in terms of stringing, the biggest thing I found with PETG in terms of getting your profile dialed in is quick XY moves. So getting that nozzle from one point to the other on the part as quickly as possible, because the slower you move, the more chance it has to ooze out of the nozzle and then stretch out and string. Whereas if, you're going from, point A to point B, if it's like this and it's just slow, it gives it a chance to drag. Whereas if it moves quick, it kind of shears that off and doesn't let it pull, if that makes sense. So in general, PETG will string. Like I have had maybe a couple of prints in my entire lifetime of doing this stuff, which has been about 5 years almost at this point. And just PETG, no matter what brand it is, that you usually always get a little string. So it's just something to be expected. And most of the stringing cleans up with just a heat gun. So, just keep that in mind. Don't go nuts trying to, tune every little string out. It can happen. So, Doc Brown, missed the last few weeks due to traveling. Well, I missed the last week due to stuff going on here, so I guess that worked. Basta says he got his first 3D printer Sidewinder X2. I heard those were okay. I'm not a huge fan of Artillery, but I also don't hate them. They're just okay. I don't like some of their design choices with the ribbon cables. They're hard to fix, and they're not very user serviceable. But that's a personal preference and my opinion. And you said, I got Amazon Basics filament. Is that fine to start? Yeah, that is a fine start. I've bought Amazon Basics filament. I was not impressed with it for the price. There's a lot of other better brands out there. They're just rebranding Chinese filament like a lot of other places. Me personally, I try to stick with US made filaments, because that is one of the few things that is actually made here in this industry. A lot of the market is dominated by a lot of Chinese sellers, and I try to buy from US sellers, and like we also resell US made filament as well. But I've been using US made filament for a while, and the reason I don't mind paying a couple bucks extra a roll is because I've found, especially running a print farm, that saving a couple bucks a roll means I get better consistency, because usually there's better QC and better materials used in the US made plastics. This is just my experience, it's not fact. And if I'm running a print farm, which I am, I'm not going to be concerned about saving $4 to $5 a roll if the trade-off is that, I'll be having, more issues with print quality or jams or, stringing or whatnot, because that was my experience with using some of the overseas brands, was just issues with the filament. And, we'd have one good batch and like, oh, cool, this print's great. And the next batch, it's printing like crap. And, I'm literally losing money paying somebody to fight with this filament versus I'll just pay a little more upfront and get filament that's, damn near the same every single time for years. So, BW Electronics says, I'm thinking about trying to make some Lithophanes. I heard you can do that in Cura. Do you recommend that or using something else to generate the STL? There's another site. I'm sure someone's going to chime in and pop into it, but there's a site that does it. I always use the website. I don't use Cura, and I don't really follow their change logs, so I'm sure someone in the chat probably uses Cura and has used it. I'm typing right now. What is the name of it? I think it's 3dp.rocks. Is that it? That sound right? Yeah, that's what I use. 3dp.rocks/lithophane. That's what I've always used. I've printed a few lithophanes, and I've always used the 3dp.rocks. So I'll just show you here. Let me pull something in here. Let me upload a file, image, and I'm gonna upload a file here. Let's see. Where's a good one? Let's try to find a good one here. That's a video. There we go. Well, we'll do it. We'll do a picture of Rima. How's this? So, this is the software here. I usually would do like a vertical one, so you got like the different curved options. Why is this not? I don't remember how to do this. Okay, yeah. So, I mean, this is like what I would do is I'd run it through here, and then this is the file. Here's the image that I started out with, and you can do different options like, where is it? Model settings. You can do a border and stuff, and, thinnest layer, vectors per pixel. If there's a base, how much the curve is. And then you can go back, and I believe you hit refresh, and it should give you, yeah. So, there you go. And then you would just download this file and print it. So, this is what I've always used to do lithophanes. If anybody's got any other recommendation, I'm honestly open to that, but you would just download the file here, and I'll hit OK, and boom, there's my lithophane. I can slice this up, print it vertically, and you can see there it mapped it all out all nice. So that's what I've used. I really kind of want to do a lithophane now, but we're gonna keep on with the stream. I'm gonna see if there's anybody has any answers for it. That's a site I use. Spasmatic says. John is laughing, still laughing on the comment. This is mostly a dude stream. Sausage fest, that is. Yes, I am not joking. It's abysmal. If we ever have a sponsor that's gonna target a woman audience, then I'm just gonna have to be like, listen, man, this is not the channel to target if that's your audience you're trying to market to. I'll just be honest with you. All right, let's figure out where we're at. I saw Zolan. All right, BW, we're talking about lithophanes. Let's see. Spasmatic order is easy board last night. Well, yeah, it probably went out today. Well, it should have went out today. We ship pretty quick here. Occasionally we'll have delays around these times, but my team is fucking awesome. And they've been just knocking it out of the park. So Joseph says he's got an EABL on the under 6, and the thing prints everything canted. Oh, canted, like that. Octopi bed visualizer shows the bed canted. Follow the support troubleshooting page, but no dice. Now, I'm assuming, so my question is the first layer even? Because if the first layer is even, meaning it's consistent, so the probe's doing its compensation, then it's doing what it's supposed to do. You have a couple options if your bed is, tilted. Is one, physically fix the bed, take it apart, and make sure it's all squared up. Mine was a little bit tilted, and I went through and loosened everything up, got it all squared up, tightened it all back down, and everything got aligned. The biggest thing I noticed on the under 6 is if those eccentric nuts are not properly adjusted with enough tension, it will then be more prone to do this. So, but yeah, in general, if your bed is tilted like that, you're going to want to mess with it to get it as flat as possible, because it will then do compensation in the print. Now, if you, for some reason, can't do it, you have a couple other options. So this is assuming that your first layer is even though it's doing compensation, it's still at the correct height. So if it's at the correct height and you want to turn off the compensation, there is the M420Z command, which it would be M420Z2, would then fade off the compensation over the first 2 millimeters of the print, meaning after 2 millimeters, the compensation is completely turned off. Now, it could skew your print and make it slightly dimensionally less accurate because it is now, squishing those layers to fade off the compensation. The main thing is to identify on the printer what is causing that slant and fixing it. So basically, you're using the compensation as little as possible. The ABL systems in general, ours, BL Touches, they'll take those readings and they'll do a lot of compensation. But the more compensation you're doing, the more it can skew the part. And most people's beds are, they're warped and stuff where it's enough to make bed leveling manually a pain, but not enough to really mess with your part's dimensions. So, the TLDR is identifying the printer what is causing that bed to be slanted and address it. Your other option would be then to turn off, use the M420Z command. So M420 space Z, and then I recommend using 2, and that will fade off the compensation over 2 millimeters, but it could make your part dimensionally inaccurate. So then, like I said, the obvious thing would be to fix the slanting for the bed. Mine had that issue. I had to readjust my eccentrics, and I had to square up the frame. So, let's see. Michael says, can I sponsor TH3 giveaway for Christmas? I mean, I don't know what that would look like. Maybe you got stuff you want to get rid of. Justin Dybell, watch the movie Dune. You'll hear how Matt Muad'Dib is pronounced. Spazmac, did you ever make a video on linear advance with the Easy Board? So I have a video showing that it does work, and linear advance does work on the Easy Board V1 and the V2. I've played around with linear advance on and off. It's one of those things that I'll, go down a hyper focus rabbit hole and start tuning machines, and I'll use it for a week, and then I'm like, it doesn't make that big of a difference and ends up causing more issues, so I turn it off. So I just, every time I get an itch to play with linear advance, I just remind myself that, hey, I've already done this and it's not a huge difference. And that's my personal preference. So, you guys can do whatever you want. But, I didn't see that big of a difference with linear advance, especially at standard print speeds. So, Zolan's asking, will TH3 carry laser engraver / cutter product accessories in the future? Honestly, I have been thinking about it, but I am not deep into that community or market yet to be able to properly recommend and stock products. I did have a lot of fun with the Atom Stack. I think it was X5. I gave that to my guy Sean, who is one of our shop technicians. And I do have the Atom Stack X7 sitting here. So I will be doing a video on that, playing with the laser cutter. I'm probably going to grade my logo into this new table. But I have been having a lot of fun with the diode lasers. I was kind of on the fence about the diode lasers just because the price of them is about the same or sometimes more than something like a K40, which is a CO2 laser. But I do like them for people that don't need a CO2 laser in terms of, you know, the power, because you can do a lot of cool stuff with these diode lasers, like engraving and cutting thinner things. And so it's, you know, it's the right tool for the job kind of stuff. So I am very interested in the lasers. I have a K40 here. I also got an 80 watt CO2 in the shop. That's got a water chill and everything. And I also have that Atom Stack X7, which I'm going to hang on and play with personally. You know, and I'm hoping that I'll be able to use that more and do some cool projects too, because I got some friends of mine that are interested in doing a lot of DIY stuff, and be cool if I can get them in and, you know, kind of help motivate me and, you know, use my tools here to augment their interest and stuff. So let's see. Vince Ford, can you add an EZBL to SideWire X1 with a stock screen? If not, why? So technically you could try, but we don't officially support it. The issue is that the stock SideWire X1 screen is one of those touchscreens that is independently controlled, and it's a closed source firmware. There are some people that have done weird workarounds and hack jobs to get it working, but I was not comfortable supporting it. So yes, you would need the conversion kit that we sell. The main reason is, you know, there's a certain level of experience, and it sounds marketing hokey, but I really do believe this. I'm not just trying to, you know, blow smoke up your guys' asses. But, you know, a lot of the features and a lot of the settings and a lot of the tweaks that you get with our firmware require the 12864 LCD screen, and all of those, you know, we got the EZABL hardware itself, which is, you know, really good quality hardware, you know, and then we got the technical support, but the thing is, we also have the software that uses the sensor to do the compensation. And when you have a non-standard screen that doesn't have access to all of Marlin's features that make it easier to use the product and your printer, it's hard, you know, it can ruin that experience. So while we could technically get it working with the stock screen, you would not have access to a lot of the settings, and then it's going to just be more fiddly and fumbly versus a proper screen that has access to all the features. You know, because if we did something with a stock screen, it's like, oh, well, yeah, it'll technically work, but you can't baby step, you can't save the EEPROM, you know, you can't change your Z offset, you know, et cetera, et cetera. You'd have to do it from a computer. Not everybody has a computer or even a Raspberry Pi hooked up to their printer. So, you know, then we have to have disclaimers and all this other stuff. So in my opinion, it ruins the experience of the product. So, yeah. John Grope says he's got an ANET AA plus. He gets a bed runaway, same point in a print 3 times in a row. Print was slowed down. Bed wires secured and strain relieved. So if you're getting bed runaway the same point, and I've had this, and maybe this is what's happening on your printer, maybe it's not, but I've had this happen, is I've had prints where the layer fan kicks on and it's in just the right spot over the bed, directly over where the thermistor is on the bottom side of the bed, and it overcools the plate, thus causing the temperature to drop and trigger thermal runaway. I would highly recommend, even though your bed wires are secured and strain relieved, I would highly recommend double checking everything. Make sure that you don't have any tinned wires for any of your power connections. You know, make sure that the power is actually getting to the bed. You know, maybe there's an issue with the MOSFET, maybe there's a loose connection, maybe your board's going out. I'm not sure, but it could be something as simple as if that layer fan kicks on, it's in just the right spot, it could cause it to read lower and it can't overcome that layer fan. I've had weird stuff like that happen on certain printers, and it took me hours and hours to try to figure out what the hell was going on, because I'm like, the bed wires are fine, the thermistor wires are fine. Why the hell is this thing, you know, acting like this? Turns out it was the layer fan cooling it. Especially on like some of the larger beds, like the AA Plus is not a slouch in terms of heat output, but it's also not that much. Yeah. So it could be something like that. Hopefully that gets you in the right direction. Nadav says, so he's got one for me. He said he's got a CR10 using the probe, and the back of the print is always too low. The front is okay. So that would technically be a slant issue. Hopefully this is the case, because this took me a while to figure out, and it was one of my customers that had the same issue, and we were kind of working on it together. When I've had issues, and it was actually on a CR10, where the front or the back was too high or too low, and it was like skewing the reading of the probe, almost like if you had a gantry alignment issue. The belts were too tight. The Y belt was actually too tight, so when the carriage got towards the front and the rear, it was actually pulling the carriage down physically, and it wasn't the same every time. So the probe would get a skewed reading, and because it wasn't pulling it down the same amount every time, the first layer was off. So I recommend loosen up your belts and then just tighten down ever so slightly so you don't lose steps and skip teeth and see. Krista, you just should definitely do a late stream tonight. I might. I'm kind of in the mood for it. Marcus Lumva, what's the worst piece of shit you've ever reviewed? The Bluer, the True Trees Bluer, hands down, worst printer I've ever reviewed. The close second would be the TiVo, the Homers / TiVo. Was it the Tarantula Pro, or not the Pro? You guys know what I'm talking about. There's the orange one. I see Michael, he was wanting to sponsor a giveaway. He wants to do a $50 TH3D gift card. No, man, don't put your money up. I was going to give away stuff. It's the Christmas season, and I am feeling generous. I want to give away some stuff. So take that money and donate it somewhere. There's a lot of other places that could use the money. I'm not one of them. So let's see. The giveaway link won't load or won't work. It just loads. Let's see. Are you lying to me? It works on my end. Should I just give the standard bog IT response? Yeah, so I see people asking about the UK. So as far as I know, don't quote me on this, as far as I understand, if an individual is shipping stuff to the UK, so like if you got a friend here in the US, they can send you stuff. So if they ordered stuff from us, they could ship it over to you as long as it's like theirs. But because those aren't subject, like individual stuff isn't subject to that. But we don't have the stuff set up to actually ship to the UK and deal with all their tax laws. Honestly, all the tax laws from them, it's making me want to put more tea in the harbor. So anyways. I'm looking up the Sidewinder X2 because people have mentioned this. It looks like the X1 with some lipstick, but I could be wrong. Maybe I am wrong. We'll have to look at that. But no tangents right now. Spasmatic, what printer do you enjoy using the most? Okay, so that's a good question, but it's also hard for me to answer. So in general, if I'm running off something quick, I will either use the Daedalus behind me, and I don't use the Daedalus every single time because I have a 0.6 in here. If I can do it with the 0.6, I run on the Daedalus, but I also have the Ender 6. Those are my two go-to printers. The only reason my Ender 3 Pro that's fully kitted out with all our stuff is not my go-to anymore is because I need to work on it and fix my own machine, and I've got so many printers that I've just left it down. There's literally printed parts. It's right here. It's this last one here. There's literally printed parts sitting on the bed. I just got to get through it. But I've been dealing with a lot of stuff on my personal side of things, so I've been not having extra time right now. So, but that's going to be changing very soon. Let's see here. Let's see. Looking to see if there's any other questions here. I'm sure there are. You guys can keep posting questions. Worst case scenario, I don't get to all of them. Apparently, Peter is off tomorrow. I'd be happy to have a few beers with Tim, even if it's over the internet. That'd be awesome. I have been hanging out more in Discord. I'm getting more social again, and I usually hang out in the lounge section of the VIP section of our Discord server. Just because when I go and I pop into the other ones, people bombard me, and I get overwhelmed. So, yeah. But if you guys are in the VIP section, either you can get in there by leveling up and being in the server, or you can Nitro Boost. If you got Discord Nitro, you can Nitro Boost the server and get into the VIP, or you can become a YouTube channel member here at the Cult of TH3D level. That'll also get you into a special Cult of TH3D only chat. So yeah, there's a couple things. So I usually hang out in that section. It's where all our regulars are, and it's not as overwhelming for me to be in there. So even though I'm very outgoing when I'm in my element, sometimes I just get too burnt out with dealing with too many people at the same time. So let's see. Kyle Fegley, aka Viper, he said, I've checked my belts and all the wheels on my S5, but the bed visualizer still shows pretty bad. Any thoughts to fix? I'm going to be honest with you. it's an S5, it's probably always going to be bad. The S5 bed, I don't know, I know you've looked at it. It's a plate that's got a million screws and a frame underneath it. They're just never that flat. I feel like that printer absolutely has to have some sort of auto bed leveling system, even if it's a BL Touch. It's just par for the course with that. The only way to really get around that would be to get like something machined that's actually flat, but you're talking big bucks for a bed that size. Sorry, I don't have better news for you. It's just I built a lot of S5s. They all are just terribly uneven. You just have to throw an ABL on it and call it a day. Mike V, what do you think about rails? My opinion is if the printer didn't come with them, don't bother. There are some benefits to rails, like, slightly lower maintenance, not having to worry about adjusting eccentric nuts. But there's also trade-offs too. They're expensive. You run into possible issues where you lose some of your travel distance on your X and Y. My opinion is if the printer didn't come with them, it's not really worth it that much. And I think Teaching Tech did a video as well showing a properly adjusted V-slot setup versus the rails, and there wasn't a huge difference. You guys do whatever you want with your printers. This is my personal opinion. When I am talking here, on these streams, like obviously I'm, representing my company here, but these are my personal opinions on things. Feel free to disagree with them. At the end of the day, it's your printer. Do whatever you want with it, whether that's, following my advice, or following somebody else's and buying our products or buying somebody else's. At the end of the day, I don't care what you do. I'm just giving you guys my opinion. And I've been trying to be better about, making sure that that's known. I'm not the end all be all. There's a lot of different ways to, skin a goat, so to speak. So, Sean McCall, have you started making any new products for the Solval SV03? The SV03 didn't really have much to do. In terms of upgrades, we already carry Easy Flexes that fit it. The Easy boards also work in there, and that's already in the firmware. The SV03 has a lot of overlap with the 01, so luckily there wasn't a ton of custom stuff needed to be done. Yeah, so the SV03 is officially supported in our firmware for the stock board. If you have an Easy ABL, or if you want to take the BL Touch off, put an Easy ABL in there. You can do that if you want. You can put Easy board in it. It's a good printer. I'm a big fan of the Solvals. The SV01, we have 2 of those in the print farm. They've been, champs. The SV03 I bought for doing development stuff, and then I actually sold it to a buddy of mine locally here for a couple bucks because I was just like, I don't need it. The Ender 3 Max has been doing well. I actually gave it to my brother Jeff, and he's been playing with that. I got to follow up with him. I know he's been busy, but him and his kids were just fascinated with it, and I got to plan another trip down there to go nerd out with them for a while. So, Joshua Phelps, what camera are you using? I have, aside from my scope, if you see anything, like if I have the camera arms or anything, or this one here, the talking head one, as I call it, these are Sony Alpha 6000s. They're being fed into a Elgato Camlink 4K USB adapter, and they are on the more expensive side. I saw the prices on them went up. I think I paid about $550 to $600 per setup of the camera, the fill light, it comes with a kit lens and AC adapter, so they don't have a battery in them. There's a little thing that goes into the battery spot, so I never have to worry about charging a battery, and then the HDMI cable and the cam link. So they're about $600 a piece. But if you go back in some of my older videos when I had the Logitechs, I was so fed up with the autofocus not working. Like I couldn't do this with the Logitechs. Okay, do you see that? It just focuses. It works. I'd be fighting with it, and eventually I said, you know what? My sanity is worth more than $600, and also when I'm recording videos, it wasted so much time not having autofocus that actually works. So, it was hard for me to bite the bullet, but I got this one and I liked it so much I got 2 more. So, highly recommend it. Basically, as far as I know, this is the best camera for 1080p, 60 frames per second. Out there, best bang for the buck. I did a lot of research, and they have like the 6100, which goes up to 4K, but I'm sticking with 1080p 60 for a while. I'm not Linus Tech Tips, using $100,000 red cameras. These get the job done just fine. They look great. So, and the low light performance is great. Like there's not much light in here. I've been very happy with them. Sony makes good sensors. So Dean Hens says, when my Sidewinder X1 Auto Homes, it's not in the center of the bed. It was, but the last couple of times I use it, it's not in the center. Could be a problem with my slicer. I use Cura. So if you do I'm assuming you have an auto bed leveling system on there if you're talking about it homing in the center of the bed. One, I'm assuming you're using our firmware. And if you are, make sure you update to the latest firmware. There was a weird bug with some 2560 boards where they would not always home to the center. It was, I think it was end stop interrupts setting that I changed. It mostly affected the Ender 5 Plus stock board, which is a 2560 base board, which is also what the stock X1 board is. So I would update your firmware first before chasing your tail on anything. But if you send a G28, if you have an auto-bed leveling system on there and you send a G28 and it's an easy ABL or it's a BL Touch and you're using our firmware, it should home in the center. They should home the probe in the center. If you do a G28X or G28XY or just a G28Y, then it's only going to home XY. The only time the sensor is going to be homed in the center of the bed when you're using our firmware is if you do a G28 or G28Z. And that option when the sensor goes to the center of the bed is what's called Z-safe homing, and that makes sure that the probe is over the bed when it homes so you don't crash. Because your probe is offset from the nozzle. So if you don't have that on, you could potentially be sending your nozzle into the bed if the probe is home, or if the XY is homed and it's homed with the sensor off the bed. So that's why we do the safe homing. Let's see here, man. I mean, I know I started a little late, but we're already 50 minutes in. Damn, this is flying. You guys got a lot of good questions today. I really appreciate it. We're almost at 100 people. If we hit 100 concurrent viewers, I will give away a $50 gift card today. We're one off. Come on. Let's get some likes. Let's get some likes in here. Oh, well, okay, we hit 100 current, so we got 102 concurrent viewers. We only have 31 likes. Tell you what, so we'll do a $50 giveaway at the end of the stream. If we can hit 100 likes, I will do another $50 gift card giveaway. So, let's see. I gotta use. I hate doing that stuff like and subscribe to my channel, but YouTube likes it, so you gotta play their game. All right. Wayne UK, Merry Christmas, buddy. Merry Christmas to you, man. Let's see. So Mir says he just got a KP3S. I really appreciate the video did to add the MOSFET to the power the bed. Can I easily install an Easy Board 2 in the KP3S? The short answer is no. Same thing with like the Chiron. Yes, it is possible. How much work do you want to do? And the thing is, as much as I like the King runes, the problem is their control box is very tight. You could make some printed brackets. You could make an LCD adapter. Honestly, I would just use their stock board for a while. Their stock board's not the best, but it's also not terrible. So, TE, thoughts on the new King Rune series? Well, I have to get back into the swing of things, and I feel like I should post a Discord. I feel like I should post like a Discord channel where you guys can just post new stuff, so I'm not going, yeah, I'm behind on stuff. Because I am. I'm not gonna lie. But I'm going to their website and I'm checking right now. Let's see. So they've got the KP3S. I have that one. They got the KP5M. It's kind of how you doing. Let's look at that. So I think the 5M is the new one. Switch over here. They got the 5S, the KP5S. Are these the same? KP5S? Are they the same? The picture doesn't change. That's weird. Let's see. KP5S. Okay, so it's a reboot of the 3S. It looks like a reboot of the 3S. This looks like the 3S with a different extruder. I will say this extruder looks a lot nicer than the one they had. Because the one they had was, on the other one was pretty how you doing. And I saw here, if I go back to their page, they sell this, so it looks like you can upgrade your 3S to the same one that the 5S has. So, and it looks like they also have a resin printer, and I've given up on resin printers because I have no use for them. I will give a shout out if you guys want to get into resin. Check out Akuma Mods, AKUMAMODS. That's Matt Farmer. He's actually a guy I know locally, and he worked for me for a while. He's like a wizard when it comes to resin stuff. I actually got rid of all my resin printers. Justin, if he is still in the chat, Justin Dybell, He came and picked up all of them, and I gave one of my guys here one of the wash and cure stations and the printer because I just have no use for them. So this is pretty neat. Maybe I'll do that. My KP3S is in my grave. Well, not graveyard, but I've got racks in the garage next to me. So this is, I don't know if you guys know, this is actually a garage I'm in. That I put a wall up and it's heated and cooled and everything. It's insulated. It's comfy. But this is actually a garage bay. This is a garage door behind me. But next to me is another garage bay. So this is a 4-car garage, and this bay is my office. The next bay is my project area, which is where a bunch of printers are sitting and my laser cutter is. And then I have 2 garage spaces over here. So where actual cars are. Well, there's 1 car here, but there's a vanity that needs to go downstairs, but I digress. So, but yeah, I've got a lot of printers sitting here. I mean, it looks interesting, the KP5 and KP5L. I don't know. I've got a lot of printers here that I need to get caught up on before I go and buy more of them. All right, let's see. We're getting close to the end. What I might do is, because I kind of want to go, maybe we'll just kind of have a little hangout here for a little bit and go a little bit longer. And I see Peter joined the Caffeine Fund. I appreciate it. But I kind of want to keep going if you guys are willing to hang around and watch and answer questions. So, let's see. Vampire Online. Can the EasyBoard level the Z gantry with EasyABL for a CR10S? No, it can't because we only have 1 Z motor output. To do dual Z, to level the gantry, you'd have to have 2 independent Z motor controls. And then you could use a G34 auto align, but you have to have a board that would support that and properly set that up in the firmware. And you'd have to either have dual end stops or use the sensor to home and then level it out. So, which I've done that on, what's the word I'm looking for? I've done that on the Chiron, and it does work really well. And it worked out well because one of the end stops for my Chiron stopped working, so I just used the EasyABL to home and auto level. So, Nemogriff, I tried Atomic, I'm assuming you mean filament. It's amazing shit. Yes, I do. I'm a big fan of Atomic stuff. Coax and Atomic are my 2 favorite brands. Does print cooling help? I'm assuming you're talking about when I was talking about PETG. Apparently, I'm so far back. I found too much cooling actually makes stringing worse with PETG. I usually am a fan about 50% with PETG, but your mileage may vary. Local Maker MI says, I lost the EasyABL box cover. Are the files available to print one yourself? Yes, they are in the Unified 2 firmware pack. Or not the firmware pack, the STL pack. So instead of putting all the STLs in the firmware, we have a separate pack now, just so it keeps the firmware size down. And those are in the firmware pack, or in the STL pack for the Unified 2. Let's see here. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop some music on for a sec, because I need to go use the restroom for a quick bit, but I think I'm going to stay on for a little bit longer because I don't have anything scheduled tonight, and you know, I can do that. So let me do this. I'm going to pull up a track from my buddy Josh over at From Zero to Z. I'm going to put the coming soon placeholder up, and I'll be back in like 2 or 3 minutes. Does that sound good? I'm going to pull up where's my countdown thing so people know. Let's see here. Where is it? And they are on, my buddy's band is on Spotify, so, let's see here. Where's this? I like the Commodore Jam is my favorite one from them. Where is it? Commodore Jam. That's a little bit longer one, too. Why is it not coming up? All right. You guys ready? I'm going to go take a break, and I'll be right back. So give me a sec. am back. Let's go ahead and fade the music out here. And we're going to go for a little bit longer. But first, I had to get my Papa Bless ugly Christmas sweater out because, you know, it's that time of the year. When else can I wear it and not look weird? Hell yeah. Vape niche. All right, but we're going to give Remo a dingo stick before I forget. It's like, yes, you are, Dad. Yes, you are. All right. Can we sit? Can we shake? Shake. Oh, good boy. Can we sit? Speak. No. Speak. Good boy. There we go. So, and Remo will be one in 2 weeks. 2 weeks. So they stream on the 29th. Will be Remo's 1 year birthday, and we will be getting him a cake. So, anyways, let's get back into the chat. So I got my beer. I'm about halfway through. I can always grab another one. And we're just gonna keep answering questions because screw it. Let's see. Big Papa says, question, I ordered my first printer, the Sierra 10S Pro V2. My question is, what are the first upgrades I should do, or should I just start printing to get to know the printer first? So my recommendation is, and it hurts sales, but it's my honest recommendation, is suffer through with whatever printer you get stock for at least a month. As much as I would like you to go buy a bunch of stuff, because we have a bunch of stuff for that printer, I'm going to be honest with you, suffer through it, stock. If stuff breaks, then replace it with, you know, basically OEM equivalents or, you know, slightly upgraded things. But I highly recommend, if you're just starting out, if you somehow stumbled across this channel, highly recommend starting out using your printer stock. You know, I told my brother Jeff when I gave him the Ender 3 Max, because basically the only thing it had was a flex plate on it. That'd be the only thing I'd make an exception for, is if you want to not deal with prying prints off the bed or dealing with like the glass type surface that they come with. I'd make an exception for, you know, like our Easy Flex stuff, because that's just something that's nice. But in terms of going out and modding it, doing direct drive and bed leveling, you know, changing out the screen and firmware and all this other stuff, I recommend using the printer stock. The only time I'd recommend changing the firmware right away is if you have an older machine or an incompetent company that you bought a machine from that doesn't know how to properly enable thermal protection. So let's see. Justin said he posted a link in Discord for people getting started with PETG. And I will go ahead. All 3DP is pretty good. I do like their articles. They have a lot of helpful stuff. So I will go ahead and repost that in the chat here. So all about sharing information here. So, whoop, help if I hit the right button. All right. John Reed from Vermont says he's got the new EasyBoard 2. It rocks. No problem running a console for 2 weeks now. Oh, that's good to know. I thought that was a question. Just a statement. I'm really glad to know. We actually have, aside from a couple of crooked EEPROM chips, we haven't had any issues with the new V2s. So, and I was like surprised. Like, we had a couple people where they were like, oh, the EEPROM won't save. And I was looking at it, I was like, oh, there's like a little, it was just slightly off the pad. But we ended up getting that taken care of for people. So, all right. Let's see. What filament brands should I avoid? Now, I'll probably get hate for this, but I did not have a good experience with, and they were both rebranded Chinese ones. Like Ziltech, I had hit and miss. They might be better now. I haven't bought from them in 3+ years, but I had a lot of issues with them, and they were kind of a pain to deal with. I had a bunch of their clear PLA, and it kept clogging up my hot ends that were on 0.4 nozzles. There was like crap in the filament, and it was kind of a pain. I won't touch those anymore. And there was another one called BD3D, and that's another rebranded Chinese filament. And we had tons of issues with the filament being brittle and cracking. You know, it'd be fine out of the you know, the box or the roll, but literally after it was out for like a day, it would just start snapping. And you know, I've had multiple rolls of filament, you know, from U.S. companies and from Chinese companies, where I've left them out for weeks and weeks and weeks, and they haven't snapped. You know, it got to the point where things were snapping before the filament sensors, and printers were just, or after the filament sensors, and the printers were just printing over and over, and we were wasting time and stuff. So those are two brands I will stay away from just because I had very bad experiences with them. I had to eat a large restocking fee on the BD3D stuff, even though I had videos showing issues of them snapping after being open for a couple hours. You know, I have had one issue with coax stuff, and they made it right away without having to pull teeth, you know, and that was before we were even a reseller with them. So, Joseph says GST is supposedly US made film, but the QC is crap at $8 a spool. Yeah, you get what you pay for. So I bought GST stuff just to check it out because everybody's like, oh my God, look how cheap it is, and it's made in the US. So some of it is actually made in the US. Some of it also comes out, I believe, Argentina, but you don't really know what you're getting. So it's kind of misleading in my opinion. But like, just for example, like just from a quality standpoint, like the black I got from them, it was almost transparent. Like if you put a light up to it, like even just, you know, like this fill light, which is not that, I have it at half brightness, but like you could see through it because the thing is they're not using a ton of dye. So that's how they're able to get the cost down. You don't know what kind of, what's a resin they're using. And their diameter was kind of all over the place. So you get what you pay for. I wasn't very impressed with it. You know, I'm at the point where I've gone through cheap filaments. I've gone through really expensive filaments. And I would rather pay a little bit more a roll and just not have to worry about my prints screwing up because I was trying to save a couple bucks a roll. It's not worth it. I gotta understand sometimes, you know, money's tight, but like this is not a cheap hobby to begin with. I'm just being honest with you guys. You know, play with the cheap filaments, but I can't go back to using cheap filaments knowing how good the, you know, couple dollar more roll stuff is. You know, so if you're having like a lot of weird issues with your filaments, try picking up something from a higher end brand like Coax or from Atomic. Pretty Solid's been okay. I've had hit and miss stuff with them, but they've been a lot better quality than a lot of the other Chinese brands. There's another U.S. company, KVP. So Keene Village Plastics is one, Apulo, APULO, in the Discord server recommended me check out, and I've printed their stuff, and it actually prints really well. I heard though that they are having like consistency issues, and I guess they moved, so like things are kind of sketchy right now. So if you order from them and you know don't have that great of experience with the filament, they are going through, as far as I know, I was told that they moved and they're trying to get their extrusion lines back dialed in perfectly. So let's see here. I notice my levels are a little low, and Remo is screwing with stuff. What are you doing? He's messing with my cables. He's been a little shit lately. All right, let me see here. Trying to find where I was at. You guys have been very chatty, and I like this. I like it being more chatty than it just kind of being, what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of being dry where I don't have anything to talk about. That's why I said to keep going. Where we were talking about the Lithophanes. Okay, here we go. What do you think of GST? Andrew Osman. I was just talking about that. It's okay. I probably wouldn't switch myself over to it just because the low price, you know, you get what you pay for. You know, as somebody that buys hundreds of rolls at a time, I don't want to get stuck with hundreds of rolls that are potentially bad if there is a bad batch, because I've had that happen to me and it sucks. Jonathan Baird, when replacing the stock heater with one from us, do I need to change anything in the configs for it or the firmware? Ender 3 and Ender 6 both using our firmware. So when you change a heater, it is recommended to run what's called a PID tune, especially if you're going from like a 40 watt to a 50 watt or a 30 to a 40 or a 30 to a 50. If you're going from a 40 to a 40 or a 50 to a 50, a 30 to a 30, you can probably just stick with the same PID settings, but it's not a bad idea to redo what's called a PID tune on your hot end when you change the thermistor and or the heater cartridge. And we do have articles on the website about doing a PID tune, which I'm going to pull up right now. And it's a PID hot end calibration guide. So have a look at this. And what PID does is it controls how basically how much it ramps up and ramps down. So when you tell the printer to heat, you know, it's full blast for a while, and as it starts approaching the target temperature, it'll start pulsing the power on and off at a high rate to then gradually, smoothly get to the target temperature without overshooting or undershooting. So, and what doing a PID tune does is it tries different settings and tries to guess the best settings for your printer setup, so that way when you tell it to get to a temperature, it does it as fast as it can without overshooting or undershooting, if that makes sense. So Peter Anderson, I think I answered this, but I'm just going to answer it again. He said, can I print stuff from the SD card and the LCD display if I use your display? So that I can use your display on printers where the SD slot on the EasyBoard doesn't align with the printer frame. The answer is no with the EasyBoard, because those pins aren't there. So Justin's telling me, check Discord, please. I think that was the, what's the word I'm looking for? The PetG article. Let's see. John Reed Vermont says, I've seen videos where people are printing things like a long dragon that actually interlocks and moves. How does that work when the filament sticks to itself? I have seen that. Uncle Jesse and a couple other people. Go ahead and judge me. I use TikTok now. I'm actually thinking about starting a company TikTok. I'm just curious, how many... let's do a poll. I think I'm doing this right. I can never remember the Nightbot, like, verbiage. Come on, Nightbot. Is it? It's exclamation point poll new, right? Nightbot. Oh, it's, yeah, exclamation point. Wait. Okay. Hang on. I screwed it up. Because I'm curious, because I thought about, I thought about literally just getting, like, a decent phone and having it around the shop with, like, a company TikTok logged into it, you know, company Instagram, that kind of stuff. So, like, myself or other people here can, you know, do quick little video clips and stuff just for fun and for marketing. So I'm curious to see if what you guys, if people do actually use TikTok. Let me know. Go ahead and vote. So I caved and I have a TikTok. So I'll admit it. It's a shameful act, but I resisted for so long. All right. Let's see. Where are we at? I'm trying to find where we're at here. Andrew, thanks for the $5. I'll go towards my beer fund. He says he loves my content. I'm glad to hear that. I really am. I always kind of doubt myself, to be completely honest. But I'm surprised how many people will sit here and listen to me go on and on about stuff. Where are we at? Man. Jesus. All right, we're just going to have to skip ahead a little bit and see, because the chat is all over the place. There's like comments here from when I was talking like 10, 15, 20 minutes ago. Yeah, so let's see. Nightcrawler, will the SVO3 firmware work with the stock board? Yes, it will. We have firmware for the stock board and the easy board for the SVO3. It's on our site. John Grupp says, what large bed printer would you recommend? It really depends on what you mean by large. If you're talking 350 by 350, the Ender 5 Plus would be my recommendation. If you're talking 400 by 400, I'd probably say like the S4, the CR10 S4, or maybe the Chiron. The Chiron I'm kind of back and forth between. It's been okay, but I like the Creality CR10 S4 if you can still get that over the Chiron, to be completely honest. Hugo's asking what I think of the Two Trees Sapphire Plus. I will not touch anything from Two Trees. They're a terrible company and their products are garbage. That's my opinion. Has nothing to do with, I don't even think you can call them a competitor because they sell printers. We don't sell printers. But they are just a terrible company. They put out crap. And basically, if you can get them their printers for cheap enough where you can justify just the parts, their support's terrible, their quality's terrible. Unless something recently changed, I'm unaware of it, but I will not touch Two Tree stuff. Let's see. Bill Blight, haven't seen you in a while, man. He said he sold all his FDM printers, need the money. I still have 3 resin printers, looking to get a mid-size and closed FDM. Any suggestion that will not cost me an arm and a leg? My opinion, if you're looking to get one solid printer, and you want to enclose, it would probably be something like an Ender 6 or like an Ender 3 with an enclosure. You're probably going to be about the same cost. Maybe a little less on the Ender 3 with an enclosure, but the Ender 6 has a little bit bigger build volume. I've been a big fan of the Ender 6, despite some of the issues I've had with it. This dog is under my desk, and he's not small, so I'm, like, having trouble putting my feet down. Let's see. Spasmatic. Which printer should I put my Easy Board in? I've got an Ender 5 Pro with a Microswiss Direct Drive, or my Ender 3 Max with a Microswiss Bowden extruder. I'd probably put in your Ender 5 Pro, to be honest. You probably have a little more fun and be able to push it a little bit harder than that 3 Max. So, let's see here. I'm just scrolling through to see if there are any quick questions, because we are coming up on a half hour and I want to do a giveaway. Let's see here. Nemo Griff, speaking of homing with the Easy ABL, is there any way to modify the unified firmware to go up a few millimeters before it homes esque? I'm paranoid about scratching the bed. I'm sure there's a way to do it. I'm not aware of that. You could do a custom G-code command that would automatically move Z up 10 before it then does a G28. Typically, if the printer has not already been homed, it will move the Z up a little bit to avoid scratching the bed. You could also do it with a starting G-code where you tell your Z to go up 10 and then go through the G28s. So, Vincent said he picked up an Vico X3S, added TH3D upgrades. I haven't heard of that one. I'm sorry, I'm yawning. Oh no. It's happening. Vico X3S. I haven't heard of that. That sounds like a Tronxy part number. What is this? Is this like it's another Ender 3 style. Color me shocked. Open source Marlin firmware. Synchronized with official updates, more playability. Interesting. So it's probably using a screen that actually is able to be controlled, even though it's a touchscreen, probably like the King Ruins where they can actually be driven from the screen, so you have control over it, which is good. Not all touchscreens are bad, just most of the ones Creality uses. Let's see where we're at. We're at 87 likes, 91 likes. We're close. All right. Let me see if there's any other quick questions, and we're going to do some giveaways, and then we're going to wrap up this stream. Let's see here. I'm looking here. Peter Anderson, I'm still not getting the giveaway page to load. It loaded the first time, but did nothing when I pressed submit. Are you guys able to enter? Let me see. Do I have entries on here? I'm checking. I've got 81 responses. I'll try here. I'll post the direct link to the giveaway form here, because giveaway.th3studio.com just redirects to a Microsoft form URL. So let's see if there's any other quick questions here. David, have you done anything with the Atmostek lasers you put back together in July? I messed around with it and engraved some stuff, and then my buddy Sean has it right now. He's actually one of our shop technicians, so he's been playing with it and having a lot of fun. Spasmatic, I'm installing Easy Out right now. In the firmware, do I uncomment Easy Out enable and mounted filament sensor and direct printer? Well, if you have a direct drive printer, yes, I would recommend that. You don't need to do the mounted filament sensor or the direct drive. All that does is change the unload distance on the filament. So if you mount the filament sensor, you want to lower unload distance so it doesn't back a ton of filament up into the sensor. But yes, you would want to uncomment the Easy Out enable. let's see here if there's anything else quick, and then we're gonna go ahead and give away. We're gonna give away some gift cards here. I see Griffin popped in. Big Papa gave $5. Thanks for being honest, not pushing your stuff. I like talking about this stuff. I wouldn't be doing this company, honestly, if I didn't care about 3D printing. I really like 3D printing and all this technology. Like, I am a huge freaking nerd. I don't know why I didn't just say something else, because this stream is probably going to get demonetized. All right. Let's see. I'm just scrolling through. TikTok is cancer. TikTok is fun. Yeah, Dan and I send each other videos on TikTok. Let's see what the poll is. I posted a poll. Do you use TikTok? We have 19 votes, and they're all no, which is weird because I voted yes myself, and it did not register it. So I think there's something. Something funky going on with a straw poll. So, all right. I am gonna do 2 giveaways. We're too shy of 100 likes, so let's do this. So we're gonna go ahead and give away 2 $50 gift cards to the shop. I like giving away stuff, and it's the least I can do, and I appreciate you guys stopping by. Let me get this set up here. So, all right. We're going to go ahead and do the giveaways. And as always, we do give channel members, Nightbot has a setting that, you can give channel members little extra luck when they're, when we're doing the giveaways. And I feel like that's worth it. So I appreciate you guys being channel members, because we don't make much of anything off of the YouTube channel without it. So let's see here. All right. Oh, cool. I can do a random number. All right. This is going to be fun. So, I want you guys to type a number between 0 and 69 in the chat. I think I have to, yeah, there we go. So, number between 0 and 69. The first one that enters it will win a $50 gift card. And yes, I'm 5 years old. I love doing these. Everybody's just spamming chat. It's great. Oh! John won. It looks like John got it. Yep, Nightbot got it. John was the first one. I think Nightbot posted. Yep, John Grope. Sorry if I'm saying your last name wrong. People always say my last name wrong. It's Hoagland, by the way. I'm used to people pronouncing it wrong, but a lot of people say it's Hoagland. So that was fun. All right. So floppy. So Groppy. Okay. That's a very good explanation. So John, what you need to do is send me an email just to streams@th3dstudio.com with like a screenshot of like your like the I don't know, like your Google account showing the thumbnail, and then I will send you a $50 gift card in your email, and you can just use it in our shop like you would any other card. So, all right, there we go. And for the next one, we're going to do a keyword, and we're going to do Remo is best, because he's the best boy. Are you a good boy? Do you guys see him back there? I mean, he's pretty dark. Are you a good dog? Can you touch? Can you touch? Remo, touch. Good boy. There's a good dog. And then we're going to wrap this up. While we're waiting. Oh, let's get the big boy up. Oh, you guys remember how tiny he was? He's only a year old. This dog is huge. We are over 100 pounds already. I know. You're a baby. I know. Can I help you? Anyways, you guys ready? I'm gonna see who we're gonna see who won the $50 gift card, the second one. I'm gonna give it like, I don't know, give it like 20, 30 more seconds. Is it shot collar? He has a shot collar. Is it on? Oh, I didn't even notice. We were being a bad dog we were being a bad dog the other day when we had guests over, and just putting this on him makes him calm down. Go ahead and judge me. My buddy who my buddy who we got the shepherds from, he's like, yeah, don't feel bad. He's like, they work. So yeah, you good boy. Yeah, you're better behaved. So anyways, Dan, I have intentions of purchasing a Tactipup collar for him. I just have a cheap one on him right now because I don't want to spend like $100 something on a really nice collar when he's not done growing yet. That's the main problem. He's not done growing yet. So all right, we're gonna go ahead and roll and see who won the giveaway. All right. You guys ready? And we're going to go ahead and roll it. Oh, that's rigged. What do you guys think? Do you think that's rigged? Do you think that's rigged? I feel like that might be rigged. You know what? I'll allow it. Dan's a good guy. Dan, you know what, Dan? I know you can. I mean, there's he's not a channel member and he has no extras, so it wasn't rigged. Dan, you want me to roll? You want to give it up? Are you sure? Are you sure? Dan has his own little channel. You could buy something and do a video with the gift card. All right, let me see. Roll again. All right, how's that? He told me to roll again. Okay, so V-Rich, which is one of our regulars, and I think he's a channel member. Is he a channel member? I think he is. I know he's a regular for sure. I recognize that name. V-Rich, are you into house? V-Rich? V-Rich! Paging V-Rich. There you go. You know the deal. Just send me an email to streams@th3dstudio.com and I will go ahead and send you your gift card. So we're going to be generous with Remo too, and he's going to get... Woo! Luckily, that was my prototype. Remo's going to get a second dingo stick today. Yeah. He's like, I'll take a second one, Dad. The bag says I can have 2 a day. So why are you holding out? He's getting ready to put it. Do you see him? No, put it down. Put your paw down. Ah. Shake. You got to put it in my hand. Hang on, I'll try it. Shake. No. Shake. Close enough. All right. We'll just let you have it. He's got that like puppy excitability, like he knows his commands pretty well, but he just gets overwhelmed and is like, I don't know what to do with my hands. So he's very eager. Eager is the correct word. So I hope you guys had an awesome time hanging out. I love doing these streams. It was fun doing a little bit later. I have been still taking care of myself, getting enough sleep. Things have been doing really well. And I might do some more live streams because I do enjoy hanging out with you guys. So anyways, I will talk to you guys later if I don't see you again before this weekend. I hope you guys have an awesome weekend, and I hope you guys learned something, and as always, happy printing. I'll see you guys on the Discord server.